Okay, welcome trading buddies to the P3 Forex futures forecast for the coming week of August the 21st. Let's start with the all-important stock futures indices. I'm going to start with the ES, the S&P 500 futures. This week, we got that pullback that we were kind of expecting a couple weeks ago to come down, but it has come down even a little bit more than expected. We expected this market to come down to the 4,400, 4,450 area. It's come down a little bit more than that. You can see the advanced decline line was lots of declining stocks in there. The good news is that today, Friday, we got a solid reversal at the last part of the day here. A nice little wick candle off these lows. We also have some oversold territory in both the 14 and 4 Williamson R, and we are in the sentiment of lots of sentiment of selling. Typically, when you see a lot of, I've added the sentiment index here, when you see a lot of selling, this is when the market starts to go up. You see it here, you see it here, you see it here. At these spots where the markets decided when it hit this sentiment low, these markets made a move to the upside, up there and up there and up there and up there. So I've been expecting kind of a bullish return back up to here. We were a little bit faked out on Monday. So this Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday. Monday, it came to Friday's high, but immediately reversed. So luckily, I did not get in. I was waiting for kind of a pullback, and because on Tuesday's, huge reversal, I was waiting for a new formation of either, a higher low or another 3-bar reversal. So I'm going to be looking for that again on Monday, and this time I'm probably going to take it if it comes up to Friday's high at this point. So 4,400 is looking to be a pretty solid, and then put your stops below that in case if it comes down a little bit more. But sentiment is saying, Williams R is saying, and our overall bullish trend cycles are saying that, hey, this market could go to the upside. The NQs, the NASDAQ, is another market that I like to watch. It was actually a little bit weaker than the S&P. It gave us a little bit of a break on Monday from Friday's high, but not too much again. So I tapped the brakes there. Glad I did. But it has come down to these spots here, and it is ready to go back to the upside if we get some more volume as far as sentiment is concerned. And so I'm going to be keeping an eye on the stock indices for bullish trades next week. We're going to be watching for the break of Friday's high on Monday or Tuesday, or a formation of a lower high, but also a higher low, and that break would constitute as a return back to the upside. A break of this trend line would also be favorable for the bulls. Sometimes it could take a while, sometimes it can happen really fast. This has been a very strong market this year. We could get some consolidation seasonality wise. Into September we get some selling, but I'm expecting to get some bullishness at the start of next week into the end of the week. Let's take a look at our metals. We like looking at gold and silver. You can see we've had a steady downward move of gold and silver. It has broken these lows, and so I am actually not long gold yet. I have not gotten a signal to get long. It is still in oversold territory, and it hasn't quite gotten down to these sentiment down in here, as you can see, like it did here, and then it started to move to the upside. Over here, it was sold and it kind of consolidated. So we've been in a nice downward movement here, but I expect gold to rally once we get a signal to do so. But so far, we need to see a formation of a lower low and a break of that, a 3-bar reversal, or a break of this trend with a reversal and then the formation of a higher low. That's the structure change, but we are set up for a potential move back to the upside. So that's something I'm looking for in gold. In silver, I am actually still in this one. It's been, my entry is routed here, so it's been just bouncing around and staying above this low here, and it started to get some momentum to the upside. We had the sentiment down in here as well as we did here, and we had upward movements to the market. You can see that. So I'm expecting silver to continue upward. It gave us a signal yesterday to go long, and so I'm holding on to my longs, and I'm expecting it to get back up to these lows around 24.25, 24.25, maybe to 24.50, and we'll see how this plays out with the gold market as well. The dollar will just have to come down a little bit. Let's check the energies here. Crude oil gave us the move down that we were expecting, came right down to these lows and bounced back a little bit. So I'm expecting crude oil to retrace back to the 83, 84 area. And if everything goes well, those highs should be tested again. We've got a formation of a bottom here with a 3-bar reversal. It could pull back on Monday, wait for potential entries, and then put your stops below the low of Thursday, and then we could see a pretty good risk reward there if you plan that out, the risk right in here, and then the reward about back up to these highs. Pretty good risk reward if you're willing to trade the crude oil market. Heating oil gave us a chance to get out. I took it on one account, another account I left it, and it is back up into these highs, consistent with crude oil. So this could be the formation of a lower high. We'll just have to see what happens on Monday if it breaks back down and immediately breaks Friday's low. It comes down. We'll be watching for these lows again and see what happens. If it does break below, then we'll probably be looking for the 2.8 area for this contract. Otherwise, this market could continue upwards. You can see that the sentiment, when the sentiment gets high, we get some sell orders now. It happened into here, and we did get 80 sell orders, and so that was a pretty big move to the upside. But any other time, we see potential sells to the downside, and so this is an indicator that gives us an idea that it could be forming a lower high and start its way down a little bit more. But I'm not going to be aggressively trading this. I do have my stops above this high up here, so let's hang on to our bullets here and see what happens in the next couple of days. Natural gas is another one of the energies that I've been watching. We got out of this trade up here earlier, and it's back down to where my entry was. So I am looking to go long again. This time I'm going to wait a little bit and see if we can get a 3-bar reversal. If it comes down to this low and gives us something like that, that'll be a great risk reward ratio trade where we could put in a small stop and then trade back up to these areas and capture a few points on this. So that's something I'm going to be looking for on the natural gas market. In the grain market, I am long wheat. Entered today with the break of this candle. We're at the low here, and we got that 3-bar reversal that we've been waiting for, kind of finding some solid support. We were oversold. Sentiment was saying that it was bearish, and so that to me is a buy signal if we get that break, and we got it today on Friday. So if you haven't gotten in, I would put limit orders, see if it can come back down to that 608 area, and 605 to 608. Put your stops below these lows, and then let the good times roll. As far as the commercials are concerned, we're looking to be bullish this market in the next couple of months, and it's finding a pretty good low. If it breaks that, it's got a lot of room to the downside, so make sure your stops are there, because again, it could just very well, keep going down. And we have an idea of what the market should do based on what we're seeing economically and politically. But markets will do what they will do as far as prices are concerned. So we just have to trade what we see and not what we think. But this is a good sign for the wheat market to go back to the upside. The soybean market is also one that I went long. It has been stronger than the wheat market. You can see that we had these lows here. Those are the same lows right here, the same lows as wheat. And so this has held its own for quite a while as the soybean market, and you can see that consolidated, formed some 3-bar reversals. So I've been in this about 1308, I believe, and so we're on our way up, back up to these highs. My targets are up here, my stops are below here. If you're looking to get into a grain market, this is probably a safer one. It's making a break to this upside. So if you're not in it yet, you could wait for a pullback here because it is getting a little overbought and the sentiment is there. So it could pull back a little bit back into this range. If it does that, wait for another 3-bar reversal back to the upside, the formation of a higher low, or a test back to these highs. You could get in, put your stops below there, and let the good times roll on this one as well. So we're looking for bullishness in the grains. Okay, let's take a look at the Forex markets here. One of the first markets that we've been looking at is the dollar yen. I was looking for a short in this market at the beginning of last week, but we did not get a signal. It is in a better position now. We're turning over the stochastic and on the ADX coming downward, and we got a 3-bar reversal here on the daily chart. It had a nice little pop-up here at the end of the day. What I'd like to see maybe is if the market comes back up Monday, Tuesday, and then forms a lower high, that would be a sell signal for coming back down into here. Otherwise, I mean, this market has been really strong. It came down, if you look over here on the 4-hour chart, it came down over here and it made a bounce. And so it could easily come back up into these areas with this particular trade. I am kind of bearish on the dollar next week, but the dollar yen has just have that carryover trade. It's just so strong. And so if you're looking to sell the dollar, we could possibly look at a trade in the dollar Swiss franc or in the dollar CAD. You can see that we're getting back up into these levels and overextended a little bit. If we get up to this 136.50 area, I maybe looking for sells in the dollar CAD, but overall we're looking to possibly sell the dollar. We were looking for buy signals to buy against the dollar on the British pound and the euro. The euro dollar and the pound dollar pairs are been pretty consolidating over the last couple of days, at least with the British pound here, the sterling. And so we are looking for a possible move back up to these highs in here. And if you haven't gotten in, you can see we've got plenty of opportunities back and forth here. But if it breaks Friday's high on Monday, particularly Thursday's high, then we'll want to get in at that level and then put your stops probably below Friday's low, because this should be a formation of a higher low. We got a double bottom right here, and if this holds on Monday, Tuesday, then this is going to be a new pivot level of a higher low. So look for buy signals in the pound dollar around that area. In the euro dollar, we need a little bit more formation here. You can see on the daily, we are very close to these lows, came very close on Friday. If we break this trend line and break Friday or Thursday's high on Monday or Tuesday, then I'm expecting this market to get back up into the 110, 111 levels up in here in this area. We'll just have to wait and see if we get that. It could easily keep on moving down. So that's why you want to put your stops below these previous pivots and wait for those confirmations on these swing trades. And if you're in a good spot down in here with a good risk, good potential reward, you want to hold on to those trades and see how they go to the end of the week. But wait for those signals. Don't jump the gun. If you're wanting to make your winners bigger than your losers, let's train ourselves to hold on to those winners. The Australian dollar pairs and also the Kiwi dollar pairs are in somewhat disarray. You can see how a lot of these pairs keep moving down and down and down, how much weaker they are compared to the euro and the pound. So if you're going to sell against the dollar, my suggestion would be not to buy the Kiwi or the Australian dollar, since they're the weaker of those against the dollar. The pound is probably the strongest against the dollar right now. But there could be opportunities. If you look at the Australian CAD, the Aussie Swiss franc, and the Aussie dollar, they're all set up and primed for a potential move back to the upside. They're a little bit overextended. They've broken a low, but keep an eye out for those things that we look for as far as reversal patterns, trend breaks. See how it's just forming these lower lows, lower highs, all this through this channel. We want to see a break, maybe a test back down, formation of a high or low, and then a move back to the upside. But we may not be done yet with these pairs, so be very careful. Be patient and wait for those things. The Swiss yen is also in a position where it could possibly be selling off a bit. We got a daily candle that looks pretty strong to the downside, breaking several previous days' lows. Where could this go if you're looking to get into the Swiss yen? I would probably say back down to the 161. So you could probably get down another 300 pips before it decides on what direction this long term wants to go. All the yen pairs are in pretty overextended range. They could have some profit taking, some pullback. So keep an eye on Japanese yen buying opportunities against these other pairs. Okay, I did a quick scan through the other pairs. I don't see anything other really set up that I want to be looking at for next week. Just keeping an eye on the dollar pairs, shorting the dollar and buying those euro and the pound, and potentially looking at some of the Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar opportunities there against the other pairs, possibly having them get into a rally position next week. Just keep a close eye. There's no rush. Don't force trades. Make sure that you're taking this information with a grain of salt and looking at it from a perspective of your style and your risk management, your risk tolerance, and learn to develop your own strategy around your stats. That should do it for me this weekend. I wish you the best with your trading this week, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.